Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are taking a really fascinating journey into the mind of the legendary romantic thinker John Keats to break down his absolutely epic poem, A Thing of Beauty. Now, we aren't just going to look at this as some dusty piece of literature. We're actually going to explore it as a highly practical guide. We're looking at how beauty acts as this constant, endless fountain of healing in our everyday lives. Keats actually had a lot to say about how we survive the tough days, and honestly, his answers are incredibly relevant to us right now. So, let's dive right into it.
Right out of the gate, Keats hits us with his absolute golden rule. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. This brilliantly sets up a very dynamic definition of beauty. We so often think of beauty as something that fades, right? A flower wilts, a sunset eventually ends. But Keats argues the exact opposite. To him, true beauty is infinite. It literally never fades away into nothingness. In fact, every single time you remember it, every time you revisit it in your mind, its loveliness actually increases. It becomes this permanent, ever-growing source of happiness.
To really understand why Keats focused so heavily on healing, we kind of need to look at the man himself. You might not know this, but John Keats was actually a trained surgeon. He studied medicine, but he ultimately made the choice to devote his entirely too short life to poetry. Instead of healing physical wounds with the scalpel, he decided to use his immense romantic imagination to heal the human soul through his words. He intimately understood suffering, and honestly, that's exactly what makes his prescription for joy so incredibly powerful.
Section 1. The Joy of Eternal Beauty.
So Keats doesn't just say beauty is nice to look at. He explains exactly how this eternal beauty provides a really crucial foundation of peace, health, and connection for all of us. He introduces this brilliant concept of the bower. Now, a bower is basically a peaceful, cool, and shady place right under a magnificent tree. It provides sweet dreams, health, and quiet breathing. The crucial takeaway here is that a beautiful thing isn't just a passive object. It acts like this massive, comforting tree. Whenever you encounter something beautiful, it essentially creates a safe, shady spot in your mind where you can just rest, recover your health, and finally take a deep, quiet breath away from all the chaos of the world.
And this perfectly illustrates what happens to us every single morning. Because of all these beautiful things out there in the world, Keats says we weave a flowery band. Just imagine waking up and the beauty around you, whether it's the morning sunlight, a loved one, or even just a beloved pet, forms this beautiful wreath of flowers that firmly binds and connects you to the earth. It gives you a real reason to stay grounded, a reason to get out of bed and engage with the world no matter how tough things might seem that day. But Keats wasn't naive. He absolutely knew that life isn't just flowers and cool shade.
Section 2. The Gloom of Human Life.
He deeply understood that human existence is frequently full of darkness, frustrating struggles, and frankly, some really bad days. On one side, we have what Keats calls the inhuman dearth of noble natures, our gloomy days, our unhealthy habits, our dark spirits. We have all been there, those days where literally everything goes wrong, people are unkind, and you just feel entirely drained. But then on the flip side, we have the sweet dreams and the profound health that A Thing of Beauty provides. Keats is setting up a very direct problem and solution dynamic for us here. The gloomy days are entirely inevitable, but beauty is the specific medicine designed to cure them.
To vividly describe this gloom, he uses the word pall. A pall is a dark covering, almost like a heavy, suffocating veil that just gets thrown over our spirits. It's caused by despondency, sadness, and all those really unhealthy paths we sometimes find ourselves wandering down. When you're having a truly terrible day, it feels exactly like this dark pall is draped heavily over your mind, making it almost impossible to see the light. So the big question is, how do we get rid of this heavy veil?
Section 3. Nature as a Healer.
For Keats, the ultimate, the most reliable antidote to this human gloom is the natural world. He promises us that in spite of all our disappointments, in spite of all the dark days, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Notice that it's an active process. Beauty reaches down and physically lifts that dark, suffocating covering right off our souls. It gives us that instant, much-needed relief.
And what exactly are these shapes of beauty? Just look at this incredible range of nature's antidotes. He starts huge, right? The grand celestial bodies, the sun and the moon. Then he moves down to trees, both old and young. He even includes simple sheep. He mentions bright daffodils bursting in the green world, clear rills, which are basically small cooling streams, and the beautiful musk rose blooms. He is showing us that beauty isn't just this one rare, hard-to-find thing. It is quite literally everywhere, in varying scales, just waiting to heal us.
Let's focus on one of his most touching examples for a second,
the shady boon for simple sheep. Old and young trees alike sprout their leaves to create this blessing of cool shade. And they don't just do this for kings or mythological heroes, they do it for something as simple, common, and unpretentious as a sheep wandering through the forest. It beautifully represents how nature's grace and beauty are freely given to all of us, no matter how totally ordinary we might feel. And this brilliantly illustrates nature's incredible capacity to protect life, even in the harshest conditions. Consider the clear rills. Imagine a dense forest during a scorching, unbearably hot season. Everything is just baking in the heat. But right in the middle of it all, a tiny, clear, cold stream of water is flowing. This little stream provides a cooling shelter, a tiny microclimate of relief for the small plants growing along its edges. So even when the world feels incredibly hostile and hot, nature steps in and provides a pocket of cool relief.
Then we have the mid-forest break. Picture the thickest, toughest, most tangled weeds and ferns right in the middle of the woods. It seems impassable. It's dark. But right there, breaking through that incredibly dense brush, the musk rose blooms beautifully. It sprinkles pure happiness, displaying its bright white petals right in the middle of the wild, tangled mess. It's absolutely a perfect metaphor for finding a sudden, unexpected burst of joy right in the middle of a messy, complicated life.
Section 4. Beauty in the Mighty Dead.
Now, Keats makes a really fascinating turn here. He shifts from nature over to humanity, arguing that beauty isn't just found in trees and flowers, it's also deeply embedded in the inspiring legacy of our ancestors. He calls this the grandeur of the Dooms. I know, that sounds super intimidating, but it just refers to the magnificent legacy, the great noble sacrifices, and the immortal tales of our mighty ancestors. The way great historical personalities lived and died leaves behind this beautiful, lasting legacy that continues to inspire us centuries and centuries later. Their noble actions are a profound form of beauty that lifts that heavy pall right off our minds.
Let's ground this in a modern, relatable example. Think about visiting a place like Rajghat, the beautifully serene memorial for Mahatma Gandhi. When you visit a memorial for a great noble soul like that, you don't just feel sorrow or despair that they're gone. Instead, their life, their work, their ultimate sacrifice, it fills you with this profound sense of positivity, peace, and deep inspiration. Their great doom, or their death, has a real grandeur to it. The stories we read and hear about them become a beautiful, potent source of motivation for our own lives.
Section 5. An Endless Immortal Fountain.
All of this perfectly sets up Keats' breathtaking finale. He ties all of these incredibly diverse forms of beauty, the sun, the sheep, the roses, and the mighty dead, into one spectacular, unified image. He writes, "An endless fountain of immortal drink, pouring unto us from the heaven's brink." Just take a second to visualize that. All of these lovely tales and natural wonders aren't just isolated random moments. They collectively act as an endless, overflowing fountain of immortal drink. And this fountain isn't just trickling, it is actively pouring directly onto us. And where exactly is it pouring from? The edge of heaven. This immortal drink is a constant, unending stream of motivation, joy, and deep spiritual nourishment. When we consume the beauty of a forest or take in the inspiration of a great historical figure, we are literally drinking from a fountain that carries us right to the edge of heaven. It completely, totally washes away the gloom, the dark spirits, and the heavy pall of our absolute worst days. Which brings us to our final thought. Keats, a surgeon turned poet from the 19th century, left us with a timeless, essential prescription for the human condition. When the world feels too heavy and that dark pall settles over you, you simply don't have to stay in the dark. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. What thing of beauty is going to lift the pall from your dark spirits today? Is it going to be a walk in the trees, sitting by a clear stream, or maybe reading a story of someone truly great? The endless fountain is out there pouring right now. You just have to step into it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.